Salazar torture chamber is hardly an escapable misery palace. 3 leftover corpses can, or can't, attest to that. Freshly spilled blood covers the area, along with various pain-inflicting tools. I have no doubt in my mind that this was one of Salazar's favorite rooms. It would be the final room for 3 unfortunate souls, the first of which is strung up, bloodied, and heavily scarred. The words, "None shall escape," are etched into this older-looking man, and by the looks of it, he's been down here for some time. Thankfully, we don't have to just wonder about the events that led this poor dude down a horrible death. This is El Garador's former caretaker, and the note in this room gives us insight into his final thoughts before being slain. The caretaker actually knew a lot about El Garador. Before he turned into a full-on Wolverine beast, the caretaker even knew about his family. The Garador was actually no different than the monster he is portrayed as in the game. He was the castle's torturer, and El Garador was especially passionate about his job, let's put it that way. The caretaker had seen enough. He was in charge of feeding and cleaning up after this thing, and he made his escape, or at least attempted to. This abandonment is one of the highest treasons in the Salazar castle, and the words, "None shall escape," serve as a final dark reminder of that. So, can any of this explain the second body in the torture chamber? This is where things get awfully mysterious. The second corpse actually seems a bit more modern than your usual Ganado or Zealot attire, and Leon comments something quite interesting.
Poor bastard. That's no way to go.
It makes me think that this was a more recent murder, and maybe, just maybe, this man wasn't even attached to the Los Illuminados at all, but was one of the unfortunate hitchhikers that took a wrong turn. After all, the cops in the beginning of the game do refer to various missing people nearby.
A lot of people have gone missing around here, and it's been that way for a while now.
Well then, should be just another day in the office, right?
I mean, last week there was a search for some missing hikers.
Still doesn't explain the especially brutal way he was murdered. The giant Ganado evidence wall found in the Hunter's Lodge also contains various photos of presumably other victims. What could this random dude have done to be plastered onto a door, broken arms and legs? What was his crime? I think we're seeing the caretaker's final job, before he decided it was time to call it quits. That's what makes me think that this guy hardly had anything to do with these monsters, and was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. In a way, his death was mercy, as he was definitely in line to become Garador food, and El Garador eats a lot. Just look at the amount of skulls near his chamber. There's actually way too many. In fact, there's a shoe that awfully resembles Ethan Winter's shoe. The heck is this thing doing down here? And this, well, this is probably El Garador's giant poop mountain. No, I'm kidding. But it's not like this guy cleans up after himself. And the second weirdest mystery down here belongs to the third corpse, a torn up castle zealot. What the hell happened to him? My guess is, with no expert caretaker around to feed and clean the human animal in the basement, Ramon had to improvise and sent some unlucky cultist bastards as new hires. This guy wasn't so lucky in his brand new job on his first day, not like Leon. The slash marks on his body make that apparent. The crazy thing is, he still managed to write out his final words before dying. The cultists have an amazing amount of loyalty to Salazar. I don't know what's worse, dying in a torture chamber or dying down here, the castle's spike pits. Now you may think the answer is obvious, but the condition that some of the corpses were left in, and the story that's found down here, may leave you second guessing. First of all, these zealots were killed in a variety of ways. One was actually hung by his neck from the top of a stone pillar. Do you know how much you have to be hated to not just be tossed down here, which is Salazar's preferred method of execution, but hung from the neck? This cultist must have done something so awful towards the Salazars that he was forced to look down at all his traitorous friends before choking to death. And there are genuinely too many to count down here. This place is, for lack of a better term, a cultist graveyard. Many found their end impaled by a spike. Others simply hit the ground at an incredible force. Believe it or not, that was the more peaceful way of dying down here. Towards the exit, you'll find about half a dozen cultist skeletons curiously being laid to rest very close to each other. The thing is, there was a little plaga outbreak down here, documented by, I'm assuming, the cultist at the very end, who still has some meat on his bones and was able to jot down the experience. And it was an insane experience. The file reads, "Another one dead. How long has it been since I was thrown down here? The meager scraps of food provided in the beginning are gone, and they don't give us more. The pains of hunger and thirst are unbearable. Most have resorted to drinking the black water." Wow. That means some of the prisoners thrown into the spike pits not only survived, but were given scraps of food during their spike pit vacation. How nice. But if Ramon just wanted them dead, why continue to keep them alive? Albeit in a horrible condition. A condition so horrid, they turned to actually drinking, I'm gonna puke, the blackened, bloodied up corpse water down here. I mean, Leon should definitely get checked after even going near this stuff. The note continues. The first to turn was Herminio. He was so weak that he couldn't even walk, but then suddenly became mad. By the time his rampage ended, 2 were dead. I think we shouldn't drink that dark liquid. Dear Abelardo has also passed, though he fought until the very end. The only thing I can do now is honor the bodies and pray that their souls find peace. O Lord, why do you test us so? Incredible foresight, because I believe that's exactly what Salazar wanted to do. He wanted to test what would happen upon ingesting the disgusting black water. This is an act so evil, if you really think about it, because it seems from the file that these poor bastards knew and cared for each other, only for them to go batshit ganado crazy, mutilating one another and eating the rest. Above the bone heap are what seem to be crudely developed protection charms. Could they have been built by the prisoners? I guess it doesn't matter, seeing as they endured absolute hell in their final moments. Now this may be one of the more disturbing scenes in the game. Chapter 8 kicks off with quite the bang, but not like an action sort of bang, a gory ass cultist death huddle kind of bang. This scene is riddled with mysteries. There are 4 nameless zealots surrounding a frozen plaga head cultist, with tons of blood and Illuminado's memorabilia nearby. There is no doubt that this is ritualistic by nature. There's some kind of ceremony attached to this gathering. Still, it does not answer the following question. Why was this conducted in the wine cellar? Great, now I'm getting Lady Dimitrescu vibes from this. But really, shouldn't this kind of stuff be performed in the central hall, the royal chambers, a culty looking church? Instead, this mini mass murder was done in a damn wine chamber. What was the purpose of that? Your guess is as good as mine. One clue is that we do face the crimson-robed, goat-head cultist up ahead. And this little ceremony is shown here in order to give some insight into this mysterious zealot. Obviously, the Plaga head corpse leads the others in a way, and his commands give them abilities beyond their own. There's also a file that doesn't necessarily explain what's going on here. It's more attached to figuring out that the Crimson Head has a lamp needed to open this gate. But the first few lines here, the voice of pestilence dwells in the flames, leading the pitiful souls to salvation, I think pretty much sums up this little death huddle. The voice, aka the goat head's constant Gloria a las Plagas chant, repeated over and over again, will lead the pitiful souls, aka the black-robed zealots, into salvation. Or in this case, they evolve into noodles that want to take a bite out of your head. But look at the condition of those that participated in this ritual. It's pretty damn brutal. They look frozen over, with a sort of black tar that encases their skin. Some of them are even slashed up for some reason. It just reeks of mystery. The leader here is also wearing what seems to be a red robe, confirming that this is a gentle display of their powers. Could just be soaked in blood, though, you never know. The biggest mystery here is still this Plaga's behavior. It's not moving one bit, it's completely still. It's pretty unnerving to see, and it makes this entire scene that much scarier.
Remember, keep your eyes open.
Well, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you think you could have survived the Salazar Castle as a visitor? Let me know in the comments how you would do this. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror lore, lists, and mysteries. Have an awesome rest of your day. And as always, stay single.